Hey everybody, it's Ted Spaghetti and I'm back today for another video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Transformers Kingdom Wave 1 Deluxes and my thoughts on each one of them. Okay, so starting with Chidor, he's an okay figure. I don't think there's necessarily anything horrible with him, but he's not totally cool. He comes with one accessory, and that's his tail weapon, which is a reference to his Transmetal figure. I honestly feel like they could have just included his blaster from Season 1, since that's the body that he's in right now. I do like how they put the legs on the back, just like how it is in the show, and I think that's pretty cool. Back here, the disc things on the back are kind of in the wrong place. I wish they were about right there. It would just be better. And I also just don't like the blue on this figure. So here he is in Cheetah mode, and this is the better of the two modes, to be honest. I just think the proportions on this are just spot on. You know, like he's a cheetah. He has this cool opening mouth, and he's got some articulation, of course, which is better than kind of any other Chidor toy that we've had. And despite it takes some liberties from the design, I still think it looks great. So moving on to Black Arachnia, here she is in her robot mode, and she has a much more cartoon accurate look than Chidor does. And I just really like just the color on her. She comes with one accessory as well, and this is her kind of harpoon gun that she had in the show, which I like. Unlike, you know, Chidor's, where he uses a weapon that he didn't really use in the show until his Transmetal form, so that's cool. The paint on here is okay. It does get a little sloppy around the edges, which I don't really like, but the whole back is pretty tight, and that's kind of hard to get on a Black Arachnia figure. She's just got some cool ankle pivots, which you don't really see on really thin-legged characters, so I'm really glad to see that they found a way to put that in here. And she's also got kind of the wrong color legs, though, which I kind of dislike. So here she is in her spider mode, and despite the fact that this, again, doesn't really look like how she did in the cartoon in her spider mode, this looks just perfect. I think it really benefits from not having to look just like the cartoon, and they were able to take some liberties with the design, and it looks really cool. And although there's some parts where you can see the spider poking out, I think they pulled this thing off really well. And you can put the gun here, although it's going to have some trouble tabbing in. So, well, here it goes again, and it falls off, so... yeah, this is just not gonna work. Okay, whatever. But yeah, Black Arachnia. She is a pretty cool figure. I like this one. Next, we have Warpath. Now, Warpath, I think, is just one of those figures where you don't really feel anything when you have this in hand. I feel like for a Wave 1 character, they probably shouldn't have done this guy. I feel like just this spot could have gone to somebody else, like maybe another Beast Wars character, but they do have that cool leg articulation in here, which I do like. But yeah, he's just very boring. I mean, he's not bad, but he's just not great. He also comes with this annoying shield accessory, which I really hate. Although it does fine as a shield compared to some of the other figures that do parts forming, it's small, and I just don't like this accessory. You could plug it in on his back, and that's usually how I display it on my shelf. But yeah, he's just all right. So moving on to his tank mode, I think this tank mode is actually pretty cool. It's cute. It's got that kind of World War II style, which I like, and it's got a rotating turret, of course. But moving on to why I hate this shield. This shield literally exists to hold this thing together, which I think is super lazy. I think they could have engineered this better to just tabbed together right in the first place instead of including an entire accessory just to curb the problem. I really, really just don't like this. And it's not as bad as like the Earthrise kind of stuff, but whatever. So here is the last figure, and that's Paleotrix. And Paleotrix is a pleasant surprise. It's just a neat figure. I love the deco on it too. So first, let's talk about the accessory though. She comes with this little sword thing, which is kind of okay, but yeah. And then I'd say it has kibble, but I mean, we've never seen what this character looks like, so I'm not gonna call the dinosaur head kibble. Paleotrix has this really cool kind of just like, I don't know, fossilized deco, of course, all over here. It's kind of black and brownish, and it feels super crisp. It's like I don't know, it's like this amber color, or I don't know what that's supposed to represent, but I just love it. It doesn't feel like battle damage. It just it blends into this figure, and it comes off really well compared to like something from Siege where it just kind of looks like wiped on there. So before I get into Paleotrix's alt mode, of course, let's talk about some of the stuff here. When it's disassembled, I love the fact that the head turns into the mace weapon for Optimus Primal. That is brilliant. I love how they turned an accessory from a toy 25 years ago into a full-on thing. Now you can take some of the accessories and plug them all together to make certain weapons. And I think the weapons here are a little more interesting than maybe what we've seen in Earthrise and Siege. Whereas those guys were just kind of like, oh look, here's a dude and he turns into stuff. This turns into like full-on like bone weapons. And I think that's a really cool idea. Like this one, like it could be a sword or it could be an axe, depending on how you hold it. I think that's pretty neat. And then on top of that, you can make either some guns out of the thighs and legs, which you'll see here. Also, side note, I love how this play feature blends seamlessly into the Siege and Earthrise lines. Nothing feels disconnected between these lines, and I really like that, where there was an obvious disconnect between the previous trilogy. So instead of just having guns, of course, you can peg on the dinosaur legs or the robot hands, and you can turn it into, well, hold on here. You can turn it into these really cool kind of grabbing hands, and I love that. I think Siege Brunt also did this, and I that was a thing that I really loved. You can take the dinosaur head and plug it onto the wrist of another character, and then it can be kind of like almost Beast Wars Megatron, where it has that kind of dinosaur head coming off as a claw or something. I really like that. Of course, you can take the chest piece and put it on as a shield, although it's not a very big shield. It's something, and I think it looks pretty cool. So yeah, there's Paleotrix's modes. Well, not all of them, of course. We got to talk about this one. And this one is the TRex mode, or the TRex fossil mode. And this looks brilliant. Of course, this isn't totally accurate to a real-life skeleton, and I think that's okay. But you can tell that, like, just from the head and the ribs and everything like that, that this is obviously a T-Rex skeleton. And I like the details that are on the teeth. Right there, you can see that kind of cool, washed-out deco on here. Although it has some stability issues with the legs, which is really my one gripe. So here they all are, and that was my thoughts on Kingdom Wave 1. I thought it was pretty cool. I feel like maybe we could have either had a better Chidor, or we could have just had a different character instead of Warpath. I think that would really make this wave just a really hard hitter. I think of like a perfect Wave 1, and that would be something like Studio Series Wave 1. But this one was a pretty good start to what I think is going to be a really interesting toy line. So, yep, there's my thoughts on Kingdom Wave 1. So, as always, be sure to subscribe, comment, and like, and I will see you in the next video.